Good morning, everyone. This is Evangeline Byers coming to you today to discuss some issues that are happening within the MTA and just to bring you up to date on where we are and what's going on and how you can plug in. So, if you noticed this morning, all of my social media profiles changed to my name, Evangeline Byers, but I captioned it, I'm a movement by myself, but I'm a force when we're together. So I'm more of a Usher girl, Carl Thomas, Dave Hollister. If you know and you get it and understand, you know, right? So I was vibing to Usher. And while I'm listening to Usher, that song come on, and that's with him and Fabulous, right? So I'm listening to the song, and Usher says, I'm a movement by myself, but I'm a force when we're together. And it sort of grabbed me in that moment because words have power, right? And so I started thinking about the work that I do and that I'm committed to. And one of the things that we must all understand is that by ourselves, yes, we can move, but when we all come together, we become a force, right? So, if you think about the police force or movies that say the force be with you, right? It means that something is about to happen, action. And so I've decided to change my tagline to I'm a movement by myself, but a force when we're together. And so now, anybody who's connected to me, you are part of the force, right? Because we are a force. And our goal is to highlight injustice and to seek and to get justice, and to ensure that where oppression is, we resist at all forms and we help the larger community to understand that they have a voice and that we are a place where you can come to if you need help, right? And so let's get into what's going on over here at the MTA. So at the MTA, if you noticed a few weeks back, not even a few weeks back, it's been a consistent saga of assaults at the MTA, service over safety, and the members and the people, the riding public, everybody is fed up with the MTA and their gross mismanagement. And I just want to talk about something because a few weeks back we saw a station agent at New Lines. We saw her get assaulted, and she tells her story of being assaulted and what happened to her and everything. And I want us to understand that the reason why this is happening, right? Assaults, attacks, especially when it comes to station agents, CTA workers, and especially when it's happening in the vicinity of the OMNY machines and situation. I really want to highlight and help you to understand what's going on there. So the TA decided that they were going to go and move into OMNY. When they decided to go to OMNY, they, made an announcement. It wasn't really big to the sense where the public really feels informed. They are very confused about this whole OMNY thing. And as they should, because OMNY is a serious, serious problem. And here's the problem with OMNY. The transit authority's machines are not working as designed. People go to tap their card to refill it. The machine will tell them not taking bills, not taking cards, not there are no receipts. There's a whole lot of issues going on with OMNY. I don't know if they're monitoring it. I don't know who does the reporting. But all I know is that there are system errors with OMNY. And so what the station agents are dealing with, and the union is a part of this too, has a huge part to play in this too, because what is happening to station agents is that people are frustrated and they are confused with what the transit authority has told them about that 7-day card, right? People are looking for the monthly Metro card. so that they can ride for the month. They pay a set amount, and it guarantees that you can ride unlimited for the whole month. Well, that's been eliminated. And also, what's been eliminated is that you do not have a 7-day unlimited on Omni. You do not have a 7-day unlimited on Omni. And because the public is under the impression when they see 7 days, $34, that it's that same $34 that's going to get them to ride unlimited in the subway to and from work, to pick up the kids, to go to the grocery store, to go to church, to go to their meeting, to do whatever it is that they have to do, that $34 is going to get them through the week and get them and have them moving around throughout the week. However, that is not occurring. It's not happening. People are not able to do it. So when the station agents are out there, whereas in the sense of bus operators, if a bus operator is operating his bus and people decide that they're not going to pay, right? They don't say anything. They say nothing at all. And why is it that they say nothing at sorry is operating his bus? Excuse me, I'm sharing out the the video. If a bus operator is operating his bus, and while he's operating the bus, people decide that they're not going to pay. The operator does not say to the customer, you have to pay your fare, right? Oh, you can't do that. You have to pay. They say nothing. And the reason why is that a bus driver was killed in the performance of his job duties enforcing the fare for transit. And so what we want to make sure is that station agents understand you are not a fare enforcer. If people decide they're going to jump the turnstile, if they're going to do whatever they're going to do to get on the subway, that is not your business and that is not your problem. The transit authority has to ensure, if they want people riding the subways, that the police are either there at every turnstile, right? Or that the security guards that are there enforce the fare. Station agents, CTAs, we do not enforce fares, right? So you want to make sure that you are not doing that. Your job is to make it home. The misleading advertising that has gone out by the MTA, that is their duty and responsibility to correct it, to make sure that the public understands that they are no longer allowing people to ride unlimited for 34 for the entire week, right? That needs to be something that is made a poster. It's a sign that needs to be made because it is affecting the safety of transit employees, transit workers, and the riding public. So we want to make sure that everybody understands that you do not enforce fares. If you are a station agent, you do not enforce the fare. If you are a CTA, you do not enforce the fare. If people are vandalizing the station, there are protocols in place of what it is that you're supposed to do. You're not to intervene. You're not to say a thing. It's none of your business except to report. Other than that, it's not your problem. Moving right along. Also, I want to talk about the fact that we had a visit from the Trump administration Secretary of Transportation. And in going through the stations, he labeled the MTA, the stations, a shithole, right? And so I want to discuss that because I wanted to discuss the mismanagement, right? Mismanagement on the behalf of the TA and what's going on. So the other day, as you know, due to my activism and fight and my running for office, the Transit Authority demoted me wrongfully, and I'm now in the stations department. And so we just went through a pick. I show up for work on time and I start doing my duties. I'm summoned and told, hey, you got to come to this meeting because the supervisor wants to speak to you and you got to come to the meeting because he wants to, it's the beginning of the pick. He wants to bring you up to speed on what's going on. So I said, okay, fine, no problem. Put my equipment down, head to the meeting. Go sit in on the meeting. While I'm in this meeting, now mind you, we start work at 11 p.m. This meeting started around 11:30 and went on to 2 o'clock in the morning. A meeting during our work time, right? When we have a schedule that we have to follow when we're performing our job duties. But this meeting went on for well over, I would say, no, let me see. That's actually 3 hours. It went on for 3 hours or two and a half because it started around 11:30. And so I get there to this meeting and I'm sitting there listening. And the supervisor is going over his expectations, the job, what he wants to see, what is important to him, and everything else. And we're listening, right? We're all taking it in. We're like, okay, we're asking for equipment. People are saying, well, we need this. We need spray bottles. We need equipment. Did you notice that in the scrubber room that there's nothing on the wall by the scrubber machines. The log is missing. He's like, oh, really? We'll fix that. Don't worry about it. I'll make sure it's fixed. Don't worry. Everything's gonna be fine. Everything's well. Walking us through the station, showing us how, because this is at Fulton Street Station that I'm addressing. So walking us through the station, showing us how Westfield Mall, how their cleaners are on these scrubber machines where they're driving, they're cleaning the place, it's spotless. There's no garbage on the ground. There's nothing. It's all together, right? And so it's time for me to start my job duties, and I picked the HDC job. So I go to begin my job duties, and at no time did the supervisor ever inform any of us who picked HDC that there were no HDC machines that are working at the location, at the station. And so it takes me almost an hour and a half to go throughout the station, to go from one scrubber room trying to get this machine started to see what's going on, why the machine is not starting, right? I look on the wall. Again, remember those logs I told you about. All of the logs are missing. No logs. Go to the other side. Look for the machine. Log. No logs. No machine. So throughout the station, this is the running theme. Machines are inoperable, down. There's nothing we could do about it, right? So I go and say, wait a minute. Wait a minute. This is the beginning of the pick. The supervisor informed us if these machines are not working and if they come out to get serviced, we'll have to write a G2 because we didn't upkeep the machines, and we'll have to write a G2, which is a statement to our supervisor about why things are happening. So I go and make a phone call from the booth to find out, sir, you need to do something and you need to document and record that none of these machines are working. However, I call consistently, maybe about 3 times, no answer. Ask the station agent, hey, can you contact the supervisor for me because he's not answering from this phone? He said, sure, I'll call. He calls, no answer. He picks up, hangs up on the station agent, does not take the call. So I said, hey, can we send him a text? He said, I don't think that's going to work because he's not answering. So I say, well, let's send an email. So the station agent says, okay. He gives me the phone. I draft the email. We hit send and we send it to the supervisor, informing him of what is happening at the station, right? And that he at no time thought that it would behoove him or make sense to inform any of the employees that were there, that are assigned to this station, what was going on. I just want to read to you um, what it said. I want to read to you what it said. The email that I sent. I said, "Good morning, sir. This is Miss Byers, my pass number and job. There are no working HDC machines. Every scrubber room, the machines are not operable. They are all BO. There are no logs. They have all been removed. Today is July 13th, 2025. You just held a meeting with us, and at no time did you disclose that there were no working HDC machines." Right? So then I go on to say, how am I or the team here to deliver the standard you set forth if the machines are bad order? I hope that this situation is rectified as it um, be, presents unsafe. So just understand something. At minimum, the transit authority is supposed to deliver a clean, safe work environment, right? That is a contractual agreement that the transit authority has with TW Local 100, and I'm sure the riding public, that at minimum, they are to deliver a clean, safe work environment. So when I show up to the beginning of a pick and all of the logs are down, the machines are BO'd, right? Which means bad order. They're not working. It's inoperable. And I just came out of a 3-hour meeting. I want to understand and I want to be very clear on how is this okay when we are informed if these machines are not functioning or if there's a problem, you will be held responsible. Now, just imagine if I would have just said, oh, they're not working and just went on about my job duties, right? And then maybe 2 weeks from now, I make a fuss about it. Well, Ms. Byers, the pick started on the 13th. You're just now saying something about the machines? Why didn't you say something when it first occurred, right? And why is this a problem? Because if you understand what's happening, for me, I took it as a setup, as a move to retaliate against me for my activism and organizing, because there's no way possible that the transit authority could be this derelict in its duties. That as workers report for work and are trying to do their job. Now understand, everybody's trying to do their job. It wasn't only me looking for machines. There were other people looking for machines and trying to get the job done and do what we have to do to get the station together for rush hour service and to make sure that we are also in a clean work environment. But when the transit authority fails to do its job, what it often does is retaliate against the employees and say, look, there's things over here, right? You didn't do this, you didn't do that. Why is this not done? Why is that not done? Well, if you give us the equipment, if you make sure that the facility rooms are stocked, that we have working equipment, that you invest in the best equipment to service the customers and to ensure that we are no longer seen by the Trump administration as a shithole subway system. No fault of the employees or the people that work here. And I want to be very clear, because what goes out is that the employees are not doing their job, and that is not true. The stations are supposed to be stocked. The supervisor in charge of the station is supposed to make sure that station is together. And if they do not do it, it's on them. But what do? Find little crafty ways to put it on the employees and say that the employees are not doing their job, right? They're not doing their job. And it's not right. And it needs to be fixed, right? And after I reported this and documented it in the station's condition log and called OSAC to put it on record that this what was going on. The supervisor who wouldn't take our calls, who would not answer, went to the station agent who allowed me to contact him on the phone and asked him to write a statement about allowing me to send an email to let him know the condition of the station. Is that not retaliation? Is that not retaliation? We're reporting unsafe working conditions, BO'd equipment. And because he was caught red-handed trying to set us up to take the responsibility and the accountability off of himself and put it on us, right? Now the station agent has to write a statement. But he didn't ask me to write a statement. He didn't ask the other cleaners to write a statement, right? Why are you retaliating against employees who are trying to do and meet the standard that you sat us in a meeting for 3 hours to be able to meet? And so I want us to be very clear about targeting, retaliation, terminations at the transit authority, right? It's something that routinely takes place. And if unchecked, they will continue to get away with it. He thought I was there just hanging out, I guess. That I wasn't really engaged in what he was saying and understanding what the directives and what he was telling us. Okay, so now I report it and let them know this is retaliation. I call OSAC back. This is retaliation. He's retaliating against the people at this station because we reported to you unsafe working conditions and that every HDC machine is BO'd, which is also a violation of our pick. We didn't pick. We picked a job, and the job that we picked is not even available to do because of the fact that in this section, this person, the supervision who is responsible for him, has allowed this individual to do what it is that they've done, right? But we're not going to have it. We're going to do what we're supposed to do, and we expect for the transit authority to do what they're supposed to do, which is to deliver a clean, safe work environment, to ensure that our safety is paramount and that is first, and that they stop putting service over safety. If we show up to do what we're supposed to do, you at minimum have to give us a clean, safe working environment. I'm not even going to go into the facilities and what they're looking like, and that there needs to be, and there has been, a contractual agreement to fix the facilities and money set aside, and it's not being done. If you fix a station, the facility rooms where the employees have to put their garments and their clothes in their bags should not have rats and roaches. It look like something from a sewer, right? So there is a total overhaul that needs to happen, right, to deal with what we are seeing and experiencing so that the Secretary of Transportation can revisit the MTA subway system, the 450 stations, and walk through and no longer deem that it is a shithole. So I just want to be very clear that I'm never asleep. I'm not slumbering. I'm wide awake, very clear. And so as we move on, I just want to say that everyone needs to make sure that you protect yourself and that you stay safe. Document unsafe working conditions. If a machine at your working location is inoperable, you cannot use it, you better document it. Put it in the station's condition log. Make sure you document, so that they cannot come back and pin it on you. If your facility room does not have adequate air conditioning and during these summer months, and you're showing up to places and they are not, there's no air, you need to report it. It is an unsafe working condition. There are laws against temperature. There are temperature laws on the books, and they have to adhere to it. And all of the station facility rooms should have adequate air conditioning and cooling in them. And if they don't have that, you need to be reporting it. So I just want to be very clear about that. Also, MOW does not like the fact, does not like the fact of what's happening when it comes to this whole shop steward thing, which I'll do another video about that. But it just came into my mind as I was talking. I was going to go into it, but I'm not, because we're at time. And so I hope this video was informative. I hope you all understand. To anybody that has an OMNY card, that is using a card, make sure that you understand that the MTA has failed to effectively communicate that the OMNY card, that there is no more weekly 7-day unlimited subway cards. OMNY does not permit you to ride unlimited for 7 days at $34. It does not. Right? So if you are riding multiple times a day, it's charging you per ride. After your transfers and stuff are exhausted, you're paying per ride. You're paying per ride. And so just be aware of that and understand that it's not the station agent's fault. We have nothing to do with the decisions that are made here, because if we were, a lot of the things that are happening wouldn't happen, right? And so it's very important that we all understand what's going on, that we all be vigilant. And if you are being retaliated against by your supervisor for them not doing their job, right? Someone at the meeting highlighted that one of the HDC machines had not been working since January of this year. It has been down, right? So it's very important that you cover yourself. It's very important that you cover yourself, because as we see, the transit authority will pass the buck and put it on you. So I want everyone to be safe, just like the bus operator stations. Do not enforce fares. That is not your job, to enforce fares. Your job is to make it home. If the customers decide they're not going to pay, if they're just jumping over the turnstile, whatever it is that they're doing, it's not your job to enforce fares. The transit authority needs to issue a memo to station agents in the form of a bulletin updating that in parity with the Department of Buses, that they are not to enforce fares. This will ensure that station agents make it home safe, right? That when someone is upset that the machine is not working, or their card is not working, or whatever is happening, that the public will not look at the station agent as a fare enforcer. That they're there to tell me that I can't do this, or don't jump, or don't do whatever it is. It is not your job. Do not do it. And to CTAs as well, do not tell people that they should be paying their fares. That is the transit authority's job, to put people in place to ensure that that's happening. So in closing, this Saturday we will be at 75 Henry Street in Brooklyn, dealing with the retiree medical legal update, to let everybody know what is going on with that. We're calling out all active workers retirees who work for the city and the state. These meetings and these gatherings are highly important for you to understand the state of healthcare in New York City and state as an employee. And we want to make clear also to Governor Kathy Hochul, as she's quiet on these issues, that state employees, not only transit workers, are experiencing being forced into Medicare Advantage plans, forcing the cost of the health care onto the retirees who were promised lifetime medical, right? And so we want to make sure that everybody is informed. Also, we know that the epidemic of D theft, the epicenter is Brooklyn, New York, with over 3,500 cases reported since 2017, only 30 convictions. I've been working with D theft organizations and groups, and we have been working to deal with the issue of D theft. As you all know, every month we have meetings where people come out from not only our local group, but at transit, but the larger community to deal with issues and to organize and to put pressure where the pressure needs to be applied to get justice and to ensure that our civil rights, human rights, and workers' rights are upheld and protected in violate of systemic infringement by the MTA, elected officials, and whoever else it is that may think that they have the right to violate our freedoms. And so I want you all to be there, come out. This promises to be a great time of us coming together, coalition building, talking about the issues, making sure that we're all on the same page and moving forward. You know, this event is something that will not disappoint, and everyone needs to start communicating. Remember, I am a movement by myself, but I'm a force when we're together. A movement by myself, but when we come together, we're a force. So come out, join the force, lock in, tap in, do what you have to do to be a part and to get the word out. Again, my name is Evangeline Byers. I'm a movement by myself, but I'm a force when we're together. Signing off.